It's an honor to be able to talk about Romance of the Western Chamber, a musical. Howard was a physician for 40 years, but all his life, even in college, he loved literature and the theater. In his lifetime, he wrote 10 plays. In 1984, he was invited to China by the Chinese Medical Association for the first group of allergists and immunologists to exchange medical information with their medical association. And we had a wonderful trip. I went with him. The group saw many cities, beautiful museums, schools, and we just came away with a wonderful feeling about the beauty of the country, the warmth of the people, and the importance and the richness of the culture. One day, several years after, Howard said to me, "You know, we know many plays from foreign cultures. We know French, Italian, German, Greek, Russian. Why don't we know any Chinese plays?" He said, "It's a great culture. They must have them. I'm going to find one, and I want to adapt it to the Western stage and add music and make it like a Broadway musical for the Western audience, not like a Beijing opera, which most Westerners don't yet appreciate, but in the style of a Broadway music." So in his typical fashion, he did research. He bought a stack of books containing Chinese plays, and he sat in our living room and he read them. And after he had gone through many, many plays, he said to me, "This is the one I like the best. It's called xiang, Romance of the Western Chamber." And he said, "It's a wonderful love story. There's a rich girl, poor boy, an impossible romance. Her mother is very much against it. There are a bunch of unsuitable suitors. The boy has to overcome many obstacles, but it finally ends happily, and it's a wonderful romance story. And moreover, it's very interesting that the young man has to improve himself through education, and he doesn't win his goals through violence. He wins it through education and self-improvement." So it's a wonderful story, and its history can actually be traced to the 9th century poem. So it's very, very old, and yet it's completely modern, because this young people have an affair before they are married. And this was very shocking in China. Well, it was shocking anywhere until maybe 5 years ago. So they have to, overcome this. I'd like to tell you how he added the music, because the music was really brilliant. He said, "It has to have music that would appeal to the Western ear, but it has to be Chinese too. It has to be serious and real." So again, he did research, and he bought dozens of CDs of Chinese music and Chinese folk tunes. And again, he sat in our living room with his earphones, and sometimes without his earphones, he wanted me to hear it, and he listened song after song after song. And he identified melodic phrases in these actual Chinese songs that he said, oh, this is a beautiful melody, and it will appeal to Westerners. So he identified these. Then he said, now I have to write songs using these melodies to go with the play in various places, the happy parts, the sad parts, the dramatic, the battle scene with the bandits, all these things have to have music. We found a professor of music who's using the synonym in this work of Max Lee because he's actually a classical composer, and this is a Broadway style. So he's using the synonym of Max Lee. And he said to him, can you take these phrases and develop them into songs? And I will supply the lyrics from the play. And he said yes. And they worked together for several months, long distance, emailing drafts back and forth, with music, with lyrics, with changes in the music, with more lyrics. It was just an amazing thing. So we now have more than 33 songs and pieces of music that all have Chinese themes and musical melodies in them, but they all appeal to the Western audience. And the basic idea was to bring this beauty from Chinese culture to the West and to the rest of the world.